Welcome to Fighting Stats, the ultimate channel for MMA fans who love statistics and betting breakdowns. I'm your host, Art C, and I'm here to get you ready for the upcoming UFC fights. In this series, I'll be watching tape and providing my real-time analysis on how I think the fights are going to go. I'll be watching for fighters' strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and overall strategies, pairing that with Fighting Stats' exclusive UFC stats not available anywhere else to give you a prediction on how I think the fights are going to go and ultimately who's going to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Fighting Stats. Welcome back to Fighting Stats. All right, so we have taped the Gillian Robertson and we taped the Polyana Viana. Now it is time to break it all down. Let's put pen to paper and tell you what we found. Starting out with the stats, Gillian Robertson, we're going to put her in the blue corner. Polyana Viana is going to be in the red corner. Physically wise, I guess, Polyana Viana is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. Gillian Robertson, again, spent most of her time fighting at 125. She's moving down to 115. I think she might have a size advantage, but we will continue to see. So Gillian Robertson, in her UFC career, she's 9-6. 11 of her wins, or 11% of her wins by KO, only one win by KO. 78% of her wins are coming by submission, 11% of them coming by decision. On her losses, 6 losses, 17% of them by KO, 17% by submission, and 67% of Gillian Robertson losses are by decision. On the Viana side, 4 UFC wins, 5 UFC losses, 4 of them, 25% coming by TKO, 75% coming by submission, and 0% by decision. On the losses side, 40% loss by submission, 60% losses by decision. So worth noting, Polyana Viana has not won by decision. All of her 4 UFC wins have been by finish, and then she's never been knocked out either. So let's go deep into the striking numbers. From the tape, it didn't look like Gillian Robertson had a ton of power on her punches, but let's see what the numbers say. Just at a glance here, 58% of Gillian Robertson's striking are at a distance, and 38% of Gillian Robertson's strike are on the ground. So that's a big tell there that Gillian Robertson wants to get the fight down to the ground. Once she has it down to the ground, almost 40% of the strikes landed in Gillian Robertson's career. Again, she has 19 fights have been on the ground. So she's basically a ground fighter, if you didn't tell from the amount of submission wins that she has. Same thing with Polyana Viana. So we're going to sort of put the lens on it as 2 ground fighters, see who has the better stand-up sometimes. So again, 38% of the time from the ground and only 4% from the clinch. In terms of target breakdown, 74% of the strikes that Gillian Robertson throws is towards the head, 11% to the leg, 15% to the body. Gillian Robertson, not a huge leg kicker with only 11% there. In terms of striking accuracy, only 39% strike accuracy for Gillian Robertson, 59% to the body, and 72% to the legs. Strikes thrown by round sort of starts at 26 per round in round 1, drops down to 22, and then round 3 spikes up to 34. Same thing with the head strikes and body strikes, 8, 7, and 8. Going into the numbers here, I wanted to sort of highlight the striking accuracy here. So against Tabitha Ricci, we watched that fight. 25% strikes landed, so 1 in 4 in round 1, 41 in round 2, and 32 in round 3. That fight against one of those where Tabitha Ricci wanted to keep the fight standing, Gillian Robertson wanted the fight down. Gillian Robertson was not able to close the distance, not able to land those strikes. So again, that's why the significant strike number is a little bit lower. When she does spike up here to like 92, that's when she got the fight down to the ground. And we'll go over the strike numbers. But here you can see against Piera Rodriguez, 12 of 13 on the ground. So makes up most of the ground strikes, total strikes thrown. Overall, again, 48% significant strike accuracy. So that's worth noting. And then I just wanted to highlight some of these ground numbers, pretty high up there as well. Defensively striking, Gillian Robertson, 68% of the strikes absorbed are at a distance. Like her offense, 22% of the strikes absorbed are on the ground and only 11% on the clinch there. Target against most people fighting Gillian Robertson will go 87% towards the head, 5% towards the leg, and 8% towards the body. Distance striking defensive accuracy, 40% head strike defense. Not bad, not the greatest. 74 to the body and 77 to the legs. And then same things by strikes absorbed by round. 35 drops off in round 2 and then pops up in round 3. Tends to take a lot of damage in round 3. And again, these are the striking numbers for Gillian Roberts against. Won't go into much details here. On the Polyana Viana side, offensively striking, somewhat similar, but 80% of her strikes are landing at a distance, only 11% on the ground and 9% in the clinch. When targeting, she does throw 72% of strikes towards the head, 18% towards the body. Those are going to be mostly the body kicks that she likes to throw, and the 9% to the leg. Striking accuracy, so a bit of a drop off here, 28% head accuracy. Not the greatest or not the hardest hitter towards the head, 70% to the body, and 91 towards the leg. If we actually see here, her average strikes thrown by round actually sort of spikes up. Round 1 is always low at 19% average in round 1. 19 strikes thrown round 1, 41 thrown in round 2, and then spikes up to 53 in round 3. Again, she has a couple of round 3s there as well, and strikes landed by round actually spikes up there as well. So here's all the striking breakdowns. Again, I won't go deep into the numbers, nothing I need to highlight there. Defensive striking, similar numbers, 78% at a distance that she absorbs, 12% on the ground. When she is targeted, 64% to the head, 21% to the body, and 14% to the leg. Distance, defense, striking accuracy towards the head, 31% of shots towards her head land, so that's not bad. 64% to the body, 78% to the leg. Same thing with the strikes absorbed. She does take some more punishment as the rounds go on. I think it's more of a less movement sort of thing. So striking wise, again, she's been knocked down once in her career. She has won a knockdown. That was against Jinyu Frey here. So we talked about both girls being grapplers, so we're going to go into the grappling numbers just to see if anything really pops out here. We're going to start with Gillian Robertson in the blue side, offensively grappling. Again, we talked about the strike breakdown. Average takedown by rounds, Gillian Robertson attempts 2.1 takedowns in round 1, 1.4 in round 2, and 2 in round 3, landing about 0.7, 0.9, and 0.5 respectively. Her sub attempts do go up as the rounds go on, 0.1 in round 1, 0.4 and 0.5 into round 3s. Does have reversals there as well. And then the control time, again, the control time is just based on the number of rounds that they have, things like that. So if we go into somewhat of the numbers here, again, 0 knockdowns for Gillian Robertson in her career. She's attempted 58 takedowns, landing 24 of them, so slightly under 50% takedown accuracy. She does have a lot of control time, so when she does get the fight down to the ground, she does have some decent control when on top. 4 reversals, 9 sub attempts over her UFC career. Again, we talked about the ground strikes. When she does get down to the ground, she does throw some ground strikes. She does have 1 win by TKO, and that was by ground and pound. So that was worth noting. Defensively grappling, has been attempted or taken down 0.4 times in round 1, 0.2 in round 2, and 0.2 in round 3 as well. Sub reversals as well as there. Defensively grappling for Gillian Robertson, only seen 16 takedown attempts. 9 of them have been successful, never been knocked down in her career. She has been KO'd once. That was been Macy Barber. That was a standing TKO. The referee stepped in there, so no knockdowns against Gillian Robertson. Seen 3 sub attempts and 5 reversals, and decent a number of ground strikes landed against as well. So let's move on to the Polyana Viana side. She offensively grappling, attempts 1.1 takedowns in round 1, 0.5 in round 2, and 0 in round 3. Control time also drops down. In her UFC career, 12 takedowns attempted, only 4 of them being successful. So again, 30% there over time. Control rate not bad, not the greatest. 2 minutes of control time against Lucindo, 20 seconds against Mallory Martin, 43 against Macedo there. Not the best numbers. So defensively grappling here, Polyana Viana does see some more takedowns as the fight goes on. Gives up 0.4 takedowns in round 1, 0.8 takedowns in round 2, and 0.7 takedowns in round 3. has seen 16 takedown attempts in her UFC career. 9 of them have been successful. So over 50% takedown defense allowed, sort of thing. Only seen 2 sub attempts against, 1 reversal, so that's worth noting there. So similar numbers. Looks like as the fight goes on, Viana's been able to be taken down a little bit, but she does land some more strikes. Now, to go recap some of the fight tape again. Again, both of these girls going to want to get the fight down to the ground. Both of these girls did struggle when they weren't able to get the fight down to the ground. Now, the difference is, let me see if I can pull it up. Actually, let's go into the striking numbers or the breakdown of how I sort of see the fight going, and then we can talk about it here. So, I pulled up my handy dandy betting sheet here. So we have Gillian Robertson still on the blue side, Polyana Viana on the red side. How the fight's going to open up is both girls are going to open up in orthodox. It's going to stay standing for a little bit. It's going to be a matter of who shoots first. And the way I see it is that if Gillian Robertson shoots, I think that she can land the takedown. I think Polyana Viana's takedown defense had been pretty suspect so far from what I've seen. Sometimes I don't think the takedowns count because she actually pulls guard. As soon as she gets in close, she's jumping guard, she's jumping guillotine, things like that. So I think if she does that against Gillian Robertson, it's going to be a bad choice. Polyana Viana honestly will try to keep the fight standing. On the ground, I think Gillian Robertson, I want to say, has her covered. I want to say Gillian Robertson has better top time, better top control, ability to move in and out of guards, from half guard to side control to mount. I've seen more mounts from Gillian Robertson than I have Polyana Viana. Viana's subs and her wins have come from off of her back. I've seen her on her back almost every single fight. She does a good job of setting up the armbar. She has 2 wins by armbar in a row. Again, off of her back, most of her submissions come. But I think Gillian Robertson, just so much of a veteran. She's so good on the ground. I don't see Polyana Viana landing a submission off of her back. So for Viana to win, it's going to have to be extended top time. I think Robertson's pretty good on the back as well. Does look for some sweeps. I don't know if Viana can hold her there. We saw Polyana Viana on top and then got submitted by Veronica Hardy from the bottom armbar. And I think she was on top and then lost again by submission. So even her top game, I think I rate Gillian Robertson's ground game better, both top and bottom. Striking wise, for Polyana Viana, she is busier. She does throw a lot of strikes. However, she has 0 head movement, keeps her head on the pedestal up high, able to get hit. I just don't know if Gillian Robertson's the one to capitalize on it. We saw Viana get clipped a bunch of times with the overhand rights. I just don't know. Gillian Robertson doesn't have a ton of power in those hands, doesn't set up those, she might try to catch a kick and land the overhand. I just don't see her landing it too much. So on the feet, honestly, I probably favor Polyana Viana to be busier on the feet, probably a little bit faster on the feet as well. But it's going to depend on whether or not Gillian Robertson shoots for the takedown, gets the takedown, all that stuff. So we're going to talk it through. Gillian Robertson by TKO. Again, she has 1 win by TKO in her career, UFC career, and that was by ground and pound. So I do think that the ground and pound is live. I just don't think the stand-up striking is live. Polyana Viana has never been knocked out, but she is very hittable. Against a power puncher, I would take her to get knocked out. Against Gillian Robertson, I just don't know if it's there. So I'm going to stick with 5%. I probably 10% is a little bit too high. Again, if it does come, it's probably from ground and pound rather than from standing. Gillian Robertson to win by submission. I do think that this is live. Now, I think Gillian Robertson on top. She has multiple ways to win. I think it most likely comes from rear naked choke, to be honest. I can see her getting into mount. She does a good job of half guard, again, to side control, to even from half guard to mount. And then when she gets in mount, she sort of sits up, does some ground and pound, waits for you to turn over. She will get the back, and she does put in the choke. I don't like how Robertson puts in the choke without the hooks. She did get Priscilla Cachoeira without the hooks, and I think one other person, even the Rose Namajunas, if you watch the Fury grappling match, got the rear naked choke without the hooks. She goes palm to palm and gets the choke there. I definitely think it's possible that she can submit Polyana Viana, so I'm going to put it at about 25% right now. Sounds about right. Could be 20%. Gillian Robertson to win by decision. Honestly, I think it's pretty likely. I think that's her path to victory. I just don't like the extended bottom time from Viana. I don't like the ability that she, anytime anybody comes in close, she jumps guillotine on her back. She drops for whatever on her back. She's really reliant on these subs off of her back, and she'll give up this top time. And Gillian Robertson top time is pretty good. I don't see her getting really submitted. So Gillian Robertson to win by decision. I'm going to say it's close to 40%. We'll leave it for there. Needs to be adjusted. We'll adjust it as there. Polyana Viana to win by KO. We're going to move to the red side here. I don't think it's likely. I know she knocked out Jinyu Frey. She has a couple of knockouts on her record. Gillian Robertson, again, only been knocked out once. Again, that was Macy Barber. That was a standing TKO. I don't think it's happening. I think if it does happen, it's probably going to be somewhat like a standing TKO. Maybe it's volume, death by, paper cut sort of thing. She has, but she just hasn't shown it so much. So I'm going to leave it at 5%. I just don't think it's likely. Polyana Viana to win by submission. Again, we talked about most of her submissions being off of her back, mostly arm bars, triangles, things like that. I think Gillian Robertson's too smart to get submitted off of her back. I just don't think it's likely. We're going to leave it live because it's possible. We might leave it at 10%. Even that sounds a little bit high, but we'll leave it at 10%. And so now we're moving on to decision. Polyana Viana has never won by decision. Again, that's the reason she gives up a lot of top time is she can't win by decision. For her to win by decision here, I think if she follows the Tabitha Ricci game plan, tries to keep the fight standing, keeps her at the end of her range. Again, Viana is going to have a reach advantage here. It's possible. Sometimes we see the fights where two wrestlers fight or two BJJ people fight, and then it turns out to be a striking match. It's possible that happens here. Viana sort of wins the striking match. I favor her striking, so I'm going to say it's probably about 15%. Probably about right, I'd say. Okay, so to recap, Gillian Robertson to win by TKO, 5%. Gillian Robertson to win by submission, 25%. And to win by decision, 40%. On the Viana side, Viana to win by TKO, 5%. Submission, 10%. And decision, 15%. So a total of Gillian Robertson, 70% or minus 233 or better. For the Polyana Viana side, 30% or plus 233 or better. For fight to go to decision, not to go to decision, not to go to decision plus 45 or 45% plus 122, not to go is plus 122, not goes to decision minus 122. I think that line's going to be a lot more than that, so maybe we have something off, or maybe the line's going to be inflated a little bit. So right now I do favor the Gillian Robertson side. I do think she wins by decision. I do think that the sub prop is live, and it really depends on where they open that number at. I don't think really either girl can win by TKO. So it really depends on where these lines are at. I think, again, I have Gillian Robertson sub around plus 300, win by decision plus 150. So we're going to take a look at those numbers when they do come out. Let's go into the fight odds. I just don't remember where the lines are at. I go to fightodds.io for my line movement. We're going to go down to the Strickland DuPlessis. Where are we here? Gillian Robertson, minus 180 right now. Plus 155 for Polyana Viana. Let's see where it opened up here. Gillian Robertson opened up minus 160, popped to minus 150 briefly, and then sat at 175 and just recently took some action at minus 180. So it's at minus 180 right now. Let's plug that into our tracker here. Current odds minus 180 for Gillian Robertson. The comeback on Viana, what was it here? Oop, not that one. Anyways, so we'll see plus 150. We'll place it 1 plus 50. Okay. So at minus 180, our Kelly Criterion calculator is saying that there is still value on the minus 180 side. 2 units actually bet on that side. So I might make my way to that side. I do think, again, this fight is in Canada. Not on the main card, but they tend to favor Canadian fighters, giving them easier matchups. If I did have to pick a matchup for Gillian Robertson, this is probably one of the easier matchups for her. Again, you don't want anybody with huge takedown defense. Viana doesn't have. You don't want anybody that can really submit you, right? Like, I just don't see a clear path to victory for Polyana Viana. She's going to have to sort of fight a perfect fight, make it pretty dirty. I don't really see any finishes either by sub or by finish, by TKO. And then she's never won a decision. So on paper, it looks like a Gillian Robertson fight to win. Again, the only thing that sort of hesitates me on Gillian Robertson, she's a little bit slow on the feet, but Polyana Viana doesn't have the power to really capitalize on it, doesn't have the takedown defense to keep it standing. So I do think that it's a Gillian Robertson fight. I think we'll get there. Make sure that you subscribe to our patreon.com/fighting stats. If I do end up making a play, I'll post it there first. Put down all of these breakdowns, all of these worksheets are available there as well, along with our fighting stats, exclusive stats that you can't find anywhere else. So I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, put it down below. Maybe I'm not considering something, or maybe I forgot something. I did take a deep dive through Polyana Viana's Instagram. Not a bad trip if you want to take it, but nothing worth noting in terms of training. It doesn't look like she's training much, more of a cosplayer sort of thing. But go check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, I think this is a Gillian Robertson fight to win. We'll see if we can get there. But again, my name is Artsy. I hope you liked the breakdown. If you did, just like and subscribe below. Let us know how we're doing. Again, this is Fighting Stats. We have our exclusive Fighting Stats not available anywhere else. And subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/fighting stats. Thanks for watching. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this sort of content, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe. You'll get notified anytime we put out new content. And remember, here at Fighting Stats, I lead a team of expert data scientists. We are working around the clock to produce these exclusive UFC stats, not available anywhere else. We do our tape study. We pair them with our stats. We put out our best bets. We put our best bets to patreon.com/fighting stats. That's where we put all our analysis, all of our stats. Join patreon.com/fighting stats to get exclusive access. Recently, we just hit $82,000. Yes, that's right. $82,000 parlay on White Fight. We used our fighting stats to get there, and we won a massive payday. Our Patreon members had exclusive access to that, so they shared in the profits there. So don't miss out. Make sure you subscribe today. Again, my name is Art C. This is Fighting Stats. Thanks for watching.